NBA players make more money than any other player in the entire world.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is signing the Supermax extension, full 5-year, $228 million.
$251 million max contract, cha-ching.
$260 million Supermax extension.
Brown and the team agreed on a new 5-year deal. It's worth $304 million.
But why? Ratings are at an all-time low. The league makes half the money that the NFL does. But we still see record-breaking deals every offseason. Why? Where is this money coming from? This offseason, we saw Jaylen Brown sign the biggest deal in NBA history. A 5-year, $304 million contract extension. Over $300 million for a dude who doesn't even have a left hand. Like seriously, he's the highest paid American sports athlete ever, and he looked like this in the last year's playoffs. Now, no shade to Jaylen Brown, he is an elite player, but he is far from the best player in the NBA. So why is he getting paid like he is the best player in the NBA? This is something we see time and time again in the NBA. Players seem to get overpaid for their worth. Back in 2016, Mike Conley signed the biggest deal in NBA history, which was a 5-year extension for $156 million. At the time, Mike Conley had never made an All-Star game and had never really had any accolades or any accomplishment in the league outside of just being a pretty good point guard. Now, going back to the modern NBA, it's expected that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will sign the biggest deal in NBA history and be the first player to have a contract for $400 million. And if this trend continues, well, Jaylen Brown's teammate might sign for even more than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander signs for, and maybe he'll be at $450 million. I mean, we're talking almost $500 million to play basketball. I should have never quit. Now, in the NBA, it does make sense why top players get paid more, because more than any other sport, a star player impacts your chance of winning a championship tremendously. And to add on to that, these contracts aren't like NFL contracts. They're 100% guaranteed. Now, if we take in comparison for this year, Stephen Curry is going to be the second highest paid American athlete at $52 million this year, right behind quarterback of the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert, who will be making $52 million this year. But there's a difference. Justin Herbert's money is not guaranteed, meaning that Justin Herbert's money could change if he gets hurt, if he plays bad, or God forbid he gets cut somehow. He will not see all 52 million of those dollars. Unlike Curry, no matter what happens to him, he will see all 51 million of his money. If we take a look at Justin Herbert's contract, he is on pace to make $265 million. And if you put that into the NBA, he'd be the third highest paid player in the league. But if you just take his guaranteed money of $218 million, it would place him 7th of highest paid players in the NBA. Now, this is just American sports. Let's look globally. And we all know globally, soccer players make more than anybody else. In fact, Kylian Mbappe turned down a deal that was $700 million in 1 year. $700 million. The dude was basically going to make $1 billion in one season. One. And he declined it. Personally, I look back and I say, well, maybe I shouldn't have quit soccer. But I do know this. My kid, for a matter of fact, before he even knows the word dad, will know how to kick a soccer ball. So if you're watching this and you're a soccer star, this is why. And offers like this make us believe that soccer players get paid more than anybody else. But that's for the top guys. They make that money. If you compare the average salaries of every league across the world, well, you have one winner, and it's the NBA. The top soccer league in the world, the English Premier League, averaged around $309 million per player. Compare that to the NFL's average salary of $2.1 million per player and the MLB salary of $4.3 million per player. And none of those are even close or even half of what an average NBA player salary, which is $8.5 million. So I take that back. My kid, unless you're a soccer star, you will learn how to hoop because you can sit the bench and make 8 mil. Well, obviously you're probably thinking, well, this is due to the fact that NFL teams are large and baseball teams are large and soccer teams are pretty large and NBA teams only have 15 players. Yes, it makes sense. NBA teams have less people to pay, so they're able to pay them more. Common sense. What doesn't make sense is the NBA is not the most profitable league in the world. Where are they getting this money from? In fact, the NFL, despite having more players, makes double of what the NBA makes in profit at $18 billion a year, making them the most profitable league in the entire world. Which leaves us wondering, so why don't we see them with guaranteed contracts? Why aren't they getting the money that these top NBA players, even top soccer players aren't getting? Why does it seem like these NBA players are overpaid? We just witnessed Anthony Davis sign the largest annual extension in NBA history at $62 million per year. But where do the Lakers and these other NBA teams seem to be finding this money? When it comes to TV deals, they have the second biggest deal in America behind the NFL. And with a 50-50 revenue split for the players and the rest of the league, every year a new TV deal is signed, the cap rises. Which is why we saw a guy like Kevin Durant in 2016 be able to sign with the Golden State Warriors on a max deal. So that explains it. The NBA players get all this money because they make all the money in TV revenue. Makes sense. Great. Not exactly, because their TV deal ends in 2025 and the NBA is looking to make more money off their TV deal than ever before. Which is great. Cool. The league is getting better. No. Their ratings are actually the worst they have ever been. Since the NBA's peak in 1995, where the league saw an average of 3 million viewers per game, it has dropped in almost half at 1.61 million viewers per game. There was actually a viral stat last year that the Women's Elite 8 championship game had more average views than an NBA regular season game that year. And not to take anything away from the Iowa or Louisville women, because Caitlin Clark is must-see TV, but there's no reason for in a collegiate sport to be averaging more views than in professional sport. And to be fair, you will probably say, well, that's the regular season. The regular season's bad. Well, why is everyone waiting until the playoffs to start watching NBA basketball? Because unless you just love the NBA like me, the regular season is boring. It almost seems like the highest paid athletes in the world seem to not want to play every night. Players seem almost disinterested in regular season games and they seem to be going through the motions, or sometimes not even playing at all if your name is Kawhi Leonard. As probably the biggest issue that the NBA has right now with the regular season is load management. These players are making the most money they have ever seen and are playing less and less games every year. It seems like the more money that they give these players, the less games they want to play. Let's take Zion Williamson, for example, who has played 114 games in his 4-year career and had just signed a $193 million extension the last season. Or LaMelo Ball, who has missed an entire season worth of game in his 3-year career and has just signed a 5-year $260 million extension. And they aren't even playing close to 82 games, which back in the day was a very common thing. Playing 82 games was just the norm. It was expected because that's what you're signed to. But now it's a very rare sight to see. In fact, playing 82 games is almost looked at as being a good thing, not a thing that is expected. This year we only had 10 NBA players play 82 games. Those 10 players out of the 450 players were KJ Martin, Terry Eason, Harrison Barnes, Mikal Bridges, Isaiah Hurtonston, Kevon Looney, Jordan Poole, Nikola Vucevic, Derek White, and Patrick Williams. That's it. And which makes this number even worse is that this is actually double from the past season, which had 5 players who played 82 games. So Anthony Davis, who will make the most money in the NBA per year in NBA history, at $62 million, averages 49 games a year since joining the Los Angeles Lakers. And remember, it doesn't matter how many games they decide to play because their money is guaranteed. AD could play 5 games and he's gonna make all $62 million of his dollars. Now, is this fair for the owners who have to hold up their end of the bargain no matter what when the players are not doing the same? As an organization, when you sign a guy like Jaylen Brown for a 5-year extension, you expect them to play all 5 years, which makes sense. When your contract is up after the 5 years, you can then decide to sign a new one or go somewhere else. But just play your contract out. Much like LeBron did in 2010 when he left his hometown of Cleveland Cavaliers to go join the Miami Heat after his contract had ended, which marked the beginning of the new player empowerment era in the NBA. But what LeBron did in 2010 has manifested into something that the league never saw coming. Like I said, when a team signs a star for a 5-year deal, they expect this player to be here for all 5 years. They begin to promote you. They begin to form a team around you. Heck, in some cases, they begin a rebrand of their whole entire organization. They want their 5-year investment to be as happy as possible, just for that player to up and leave them before their contract is even up. Players like Kevin Durant and James Harden have been doing this for the last couple of years. James Harden signed the biggest deal in NBA history with the Houston Rockets at that time. It was a 4-year, $170 million extension, only for him to request a trade 2 years into that deal. And then being traded to the Brooklyn Nets, who he would spend a year for and then request another trade. And after getting traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, he has once again requested a trade after 1 year and is in drama saying that he will never play for his current GM ever again.
Maury is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
This is all while on the same 4-year extension that he signed previously with the Houston Rockets. And this seems to be a growing trend within the NBA. Sign a huge extension for 4 to 5 years and then leave before the contract is up. Especially with the NBA Supermax contracts. Players are signing record-breaking deals. The NBA came up with this Supermax contract structure in 2017 to directly combat what Kevin Durant had just did to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Supermax is set up so that the current team you're playing with can offer you more money than any other team in the league. All you have to do as a player is hit certain incentives to be eligible for this Supermax, which could be All NBA team, be Defensive Player of the Year, or win the MVP award. If you hit one of these incentives, you are eligible for the Supermax deal, like Steph Curry's $215 million deal, or Damian Lillard's $257 million deal, or Giannis Antetokounmpo's $228 million deal, and so on and so on. The Supermax was here to help these small teams keep their star players, but instead it seems to backfire as they are requesting trades at an alarming rate. So with the NBA ratings being at an all-time low, players not wanting to play and low managing, and stars team hopping more than ever, why are owners still able to give out record-breaking deals every single season? The answer is simple: marketing. NBA players are the most recognizable faces in America. More people will know the name of LeBron James before they know the name of Patrick Mahomes, Shohei Ohtani, or Alex Ovechkin. All players who are arguably the GOAT in their sports are future GOATs in their sport. That's because unlike any other sport in America, the NBA focuses on player marketing instead of marketing their league. You will know a player's face before you know the team that the player even plays on. So I decided to do an experiment. I decided to go out to the streets and give people a photo of 4 players, all from different sports, and see which name is most recognizable.
Okay, now I'm out on the street and I'm gonna ask people which athletes they know the most. I have 4 photos, so we're gonna go out there. It's the very first rendition of Gene on the Street. All right, I'm gonna show you 4 players. Let me know if you know the name of them, okay?
All right. Steph Curry. Patrick Mahomes. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is either.
All right, appreciate you. I got 4 players. Tell me if you know the name of them.
Oh, that's Curry. Patty Mahomes. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is either.
All right, thank you. That's all I need.
Yeah, I know him. How can I not say his name?
I don't know.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'm like drawing a blank. Tennessee Chiefs quarterback, Mahomes.
Good. All right, this one?
Okay, I can't pronounce his name. Asian name. Okiana.
Ohtani, you're good. You're close. All right, last one.
Oh, hockey. I know a lot of hockey players. I don't know that one. I don't know him.
All right, thank you, though. Here, I'm going to ask you 4 players. Let me know if you know their names.
All right. Steph Curry.
Okay.
Damn, yeah, I should know this player. I don't know.
You don't know him? All right, last one. No. All right, so I'm gonna show you 4 players. Let me know if you know the name of them. All right?
I bet. LeBron. Don't know, dude. Don't know, dude. Don't know, dude.
You don't know this one? And see if you can just name them all 4 of them.
LeBron. Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
I don't know who the hell that is. I don't watch them.
Okay, all right. That's fine. I'm from New York. All right, got you. Last one.
Damn sure don't watch no hockey. I'm black. No.
I'm gonna show you 4 sports players. Let me know if you know the names of them, okay?
Oh, Lord. Okay. Kobe. I mean, no. LeBron.
Kobe's crazy. Okay,
LeBron James. Mahomes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, all right. Last one.
He's outrageous.
All right, he's outrageous. Thank you so much. First one.
LeBron James. Patrick Mahomes. I do not know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not know. I do not.
All right. You got 2 out of 4. You did good though, man. All right.
Glad that they listen to the music. The king in the building, yeah, we might as well do it. LeBron James, he doing his thing. Man, for his kids, I feel like the victory about to claim.
Okay.
Got a ring, number 2, Patrick, my homeboy. You know he on the field, he do what he do. The Super Bowl is close, man. You gotta pursue.
Definitely.
Every day, be a
Come on.
A lot of Indians, though. That's why I feel I gotta go get it, baby.
Shohei Ohtani.
I know what it is.
Shohei Ohtani.
In a home run hitter.
Yeah.
Fan, yep, you gotta get it in.
Last one.
Angels all around. I spit and that feeling so profound.
Alex Ovechkin.
Hey, say his name.
Alex Ovechkin.
You say Alice Ovechkin. Okay,
Yeah.
staying patient while I be on the pavement. That's
Can you name these 4 sports players for me?
LeBron James.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Shotani. I don't know how to pronounce.
Shohei Ohtani. You got it. Last one.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it's Wayne Gretzky.
Very close. Alex Ovechkin. You're very close.
Okay.
Thank you, though. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna show you 4 players. Let me know the names of them. All right.
All right. Jason Tatum. Kelly. I said Kelly Oubre. What the? I don't even watch football. I don't even know that Asian.
I don't even know that.
I mean, who the watches hockey?
Hey, people watch hockey, bro. First one. Do you know this player?
That player is Jason Tatum.
Okay, next one.
That is Patrick Mahomes.
All right, next one.
Shohei Ohtani.
Last one.
Alex Ovechkin.
You were the first person to know all of them. You watch me sports, go get a life. All right, I went around Phoenix. I asked everybody if they knew these athletes. The overall consensus was that they know NBA athletes more than anybody else. NFL was number 2. MLB was last. NHL was complete last. Like, no one even watched NHL. One dude even asked those sports. So, yeah, NBA has the best marketing, most known players. Even when I switched player, they still had the most.
As you can see in that video, I even changed the NBA player from LeBron James, Steph Curry, and even Jason Tatum, and the NBA player was still more recognizable than the other 3 sports. Now, why does this matter? What does this have to do with them making money? Well, it's because of this marketing is the reason why NBA athletes make more than any other player in America. NBA faces are just more recognizable to a casual fan because they don't have helmets like MLB or NHL or the NFL. This little simple thing helps you recognize an NBA player's face more than these other sports. But it gets way deeper than just that. The NBA is also way more global than the other sports combined, with 25% of the entire NBA being international players, including the last 3 MVPs all being born outside the United States. And that's thanks to the NBA's consistent focus on the international reach. Unlike the NFL, which is the biggest league in America, you will find NBA fans in every country in the world. And that is by design. The NBA has strategically made their TV deals to make sure that every country has a chance of watching NBA basketball. That includes 215 different countries and 34 different languages, making the league way more accessible globally than their American counterparts. And this is also thanks to the NBA's massive and quick push to make their league more digital. As I stated earlier, NBA ratings are at an all-time low. TV ratings suck for them, but their ability to watch the game outside of just cable is way more accessible than the other leagues. And that's thanks to illegal streams. Now, I don't stream games illegally myself, but I have heard that there are sites out there that you can watch full NBA games on from the comfort of your laptop. And maybe you don't have access to a website or you don't have cable. Well, I've also heard, and I've never done this, that you can even go watch these games on TikTok. And Other sports, they do have illegal streams too, but unlike these other sports, the NBA has also doubled down on their social media presence. The NBA has a very strong social media presence on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Yes, Twitter. I'm not calling it X, Elon. For example, during the 2020 NBA All-Star Weekend, the NBA took notice of a growing platform called TikTok. And at the time, TikTok was the #1 social media platform for all of the youth. So the NBA decided to fly out some of the biggest TikTok stars in the world, that would include Addison Rae and Charli D'Amelio, and bring them into All-Star Weekend. Now, this was a huge success for the NBA because we got to see their star players doing TikTok dances with some of the biggest TikTok stars in the world. And it might look silly now, but this was huge for the NBA. And we also got funny moments like Nikola Jokic trying to be a TikToker. They were ahead of the curve. This is before TikTok's enormous boom at the late part of 2020. The NBA saw the vision and knew what to do. Commissioner Adam Silver has restated over time, social media is a way we've been able to infiltrate those markets very quickly with the young people, in particular living in social media. They're following individual players' feeds, and it has worked. If we go back to 2020, we all remember the infamous bubble. And in the bubble, we didn't have access to these players' personal life, so the NBA decided to document it on their social media platforms. I vividly remember seeing guys like Jason Tatum and J.R. Smith golfing every day, or Ben Simmons fishing every day. It was very common to see on social media. We knew what these players were doing 24/7. But the NBA is not the only sport to be on social media. All sports use social media. But the NBA takes it to another level. Their use of another big platform has also propelled them to new heights, and that would be YouTube. It is hard to watch full basketball games at times, especially if you live in the East Coast and these West Coast games come on at midnight. Like, if you're a New Yorker and you're a Los Angeles Lakers fan, which first of all, that's actually absurd that you're not a Knicks fan, but you know, you live your life. You have to either choose to go to sleep or to watch your Lakers play at midnight. And if you do decide to go to sleep, well, the NBA is there for you, as they have full game highlights after every single NBA game. And which again, every sport does this. Go look at any league, they have their full game highlights on their channel. But the NBA is a little bit different. Not only do they post their full game highlights on their channel, they have multiple other channels by small creators or big creators of their own that have their own highlights. Much like Free Dawkins, which is a channel who not only clips up full game highlights, but makes mixes of players and teams for anyone to watch. This has made the game way more digestible for a casual fan. As other sports have seemed to cut these other individual creators out by putting out copyrights or being very, very strict with their content, the NBA almost allows it and promotes it for these individual creators to do videos on their games. Because the NBA looks at these highlights as marketing instead of stealing, which is something that the NFL, MLB, and NHL do not understand. They hold a monopoly over their content, which is why you don't see a lot of channels that make NFL full highlights or MLB full highlights or NHL mixes, because their content is so copyrighted that creators just don't even want to bother with it. The NFL strict policy led to the total suspension of major publications like SB Nation and Deadspin, which is ultimately just hurting the NFL in their marketing of their game, because it has limited the eyes that might see NFL athletes. And with more and more YouTube channels like mine and others using NBA content to make their own brand, the NBA game is going to continue to grow at a high rate. The NBA is also quick to other digital things like NFTs when they launched Top Shot, which would allow NBA fans to buy their own moments of their favorite players. The NBA is also the first professional sport to launch their own esports league, with the NBA 2K League coming out a couple years ago. They have made the game way more accessible to young fans to watch the game, if that's between watching highlights, watching video games, or just watching the game on TikTok, which has only grown the game and their players to new heights and has made the NBA way more money than a TV deal ever could. Like I stated before, this is a concept I like to call player marketing. The NBA focuses on their players instead of focusing on marketing their league. They were the first league to really identify the potential that their players had in the marketing scheme before any other league did. And they have transformed their players from not just NBA players to worldwide icons. Doing this, NBA has tapped into a whole new revenue stream. But I think the most genius part of their whole player marketing has to come down to this hero and villain marketing that they use. This is something that the NBA took directly from the WWE, who do a great job of making their stars look like heroes and villains. For example, when LeBron James left the Cleveland Cavaliers to join the Miami Heat, the NBA media painted him as the biggest villain in the NBA. So naturally, everybody wanted to see LeBron lose. But then he became the hero when he went to Cleveland because Kevin Durant was the new villain in 2016 when he joined the Golden State Warriors. And psychology has shown that people have an emotional attachment to things when they can paint something as the good guys or the bad guys. And they're gonna root for the good guys and root against the bad guys, making the game just that more engaging. What does rooting for a good guy or a team look like? Jersey sales, which is even more money and more marketing opportunities for the league. And more people having their eyes on that villain, waiting for him to fail. So more and more people are tuning into NBA games. No matter if you're watching it on cable or watching it on a legal stream or just watching the YouTube highlights, the NBA game is growing. And as the NBA game grows to new heights, so do NBA players' bank accounts, which is why we will see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander probably sign a $400 million deal. And the NBA will continue to have the highest paid players in the entire world, and soon they might have their first billion-dollar player to sign a contract. Which to me is honestly insane that someone might sign $1 billion to play basketball. But I think this is such an interesting thing. If you really just look at the marketing of the NBA, it's so much better than every other league. Like Gary Vee kind of talked about this years ago. It's hard to recognize an MLB star because they just don't talk about him. The fact that Shohei Ohtani is just not a bigger name than he is totally disrespectful. If you've never watched Shohei Ohtani, like literally, this guy leads the league in home runs and he's a phenomenal pitcher. Like it's mind blowing how good he really is. And we just don't talk about him enough. But you heard about John Morant. You have heard about John Morant and his gun issue, and he's not even a top 5 player in the league. So the NBA is going to continue to grow. We're going to see someone sign 400 mil, 500 mil. It's going to be $1 billion before you know it. And honestly, I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. But yeah, let me know if you guys think Jaylen Brown's overpaid, because I'm pretty sure almost everyone thinks he's overpaid. Yeah, that's all I really have. Have a beautiful day. Love y'all. Bye.